Welcome to SRM Insider, the podcast from SRM bringing you all the latest cyber intelligence news straight from our experts. My name is Frank Korte, and today and for the next episodes we will be talking to a very special guest indeed, Martijn Hoogesteger, who's recently been on the Hunted show.
Yep.
Martijn, welcome.
Thanks.
Can you, before we talk about Hunted, can you tell me a little bit about yourself?
Of course. I'm Martijn Hoogesteger. I'm currently the head of cybersecurity for SRM in the Netherlands. So that's why we're here in the Netherlands office. We've set up here in the beginning of this year as part of the entire cyber business of SRM. Mm-hmm. Before that, I was at Northwave, a cybersecurity company in the Netherlands. And before that, I studied cybersecurity. It's basically always been something I enjoy doing. I have a very old picture of my dad putting me in front of a computer, but I was still too small. I was, I think, 3 or 4 years old. So he put me in a car seat on a chair, and I was holding a joystick. I don't think I knew what I was doing back then, but I do know now. So I've been enjoying IT and cybersecurity basically my whole life, and that's how I rolled into it. Been an ethical hacker, done a lot of incident response, eventually rolled into management of cybersecurity quite a bit, and that's where I am now. Yeah.
Oh, really cool. Thank you for that. So how did you end up on the Hunted show?
This was an interesting story. It was actually one of my old colleagues who was asked to be on the show once. He couldn't do it. A year later, they asked us again, and it was me and a colleague of mine, Marines, who went on and said, "Yeah, sure, we want to do this. We have no clue what's awaiting us, but sure, we have the skills to do it. We thought it would be fun." And it was a lot of fun. The first time it was quite hectic being on camera for the first time, trying to do your work. There's also a camera, quite hectic, but now I've done it 3 times. That's the 3rd season for me. And it's gets quite nice to do it. Yeah.
Oh, very cool. And for the people who don't know what Hunted is, can you tell us a little bit about what the show is all about?
Yeah, of course. So the show, there's a couple of different aspects to the show, but the show has an entertainment value. The show is about 12 people, normal citizens, that go on the run for a team of investigators. These are all ex-police, ex-military, or from the private investigative industry. They go on the run. The team can use all of the different techniques that police would normally use and try to track them down, arrest them before they get to escape the country. So the contestants, they try to escape the Netherlands within 3 weeks, and we try to find them within that span of time.
That should be easy because it's a small country, right? So.
And still sometimes some people escape at the end. It's if people really want to stay hidden and they stay calm, it becomes quite tricky. We always try to use that little bit of panic. It comes somewhere in the 2nd week. People start becoming paranoid. How close are we? We try to catch them on their mistakes. And so my role is to figure out if they made any digital mistakes.
So looking at your day job and the show, where do you see like a comparison of what you do there that translate to your normal day job or the other way around?
Yeah, so there's a big difference. I mean, in Hunted, we have fugitives on the run, and we are basically police force trying to hunt them down. That's not something that I normally do. I do a lot of digital forensic investigations, but I don't hunt down fugitives. I'm very happy that we don't have that going on every day. There is a lot of parallel though. There's a couple of things we do in Hunted on the digital side. One is we try to figure out if these fugitives, these contestants, made any preparations for their flight, their run. And you find a lot of notes from people figuring out what is everyone's cell phone number that I might want to call. Maybe they've figured out some cities they want to travel to. Once I hacked one of the contestants' bol.com account, which is just an ordering website. You can order a lot of stuff in the Netherlands. And they ordered a green tent, map for all of the biking routes in the Netherlands. So we very quickly, just by those pieces of information, we knew they're probably going by bike, they're getting a bike somewhere, and they might go camping. And suddenly you know a lot about how people intend to go about staying hidden. So we try to find a lot of those digital artifacts. We try to get into their accounts, we find their phones, their laptops, go through them, see if we can find any of this information. And that relates to a lot of the work we do as well. So we do a lot of digital forensics work. Well, you do it as well. We do it a lot together, actually. And in that digital forensics work, we look at how criminals, how they access the system, and then we look at what they did. So a lot of the techniques of finding these artifacts are very similar, but the end goal is different. Here I'm trying to puzzle out, okay, what are the motives of this person? Are they going to use anything digitally that we need to be monitoring? Whereas in the normal work that we do, we try to basically trace back what someone did so we know how to make sure that we can protect a company in the future. Mm-hmm. So that's on the digital forensics side. But then we also have the pen testing that we do as a company. Mm-hmm. So as a pen testers, we try to find the vulnerabilities in another organization, try to hack accounts, get in. And we basically do that as well, but we focus on one specific person. So we try to hack their accounts, we try to gain access to their systems. And we use a lot of the same techniques, like brute forcing. Yeah, we get a laptop in, we try all of the different passwords that we might find for someone. We try all the different variants. This is the same techniques that hackers use to get into an organization. So there's a lot of overlap there as well. And then just in general, thinking about, so the program really is about privacy and to figure out what privacy do you have when you're on the run, when there's a force of investigators going after you. What kind of privacy do you still have then? Can you still stay out of sight of this investigative team? And this pertains to a lot of the advisory work that we do as well. Figuring out, okay, how do you protect yourself? Where is your data? How is that protected? And this is what I like. Doing this on the show, the digital side, we bring that awareness to everyone watching. And yeah, there's more than 1 million people in the Netherlands that watch the show. Mm-hmm. So I hope that by doing a phishing attack, people learn about phishing. By hacking someone's Google account and figuring out that when you use your Google Assistant, the voice clip is actually stored on Google and you can just download it, which we saw like 2 seasons ago. People start realizing, okay, there's a lot of information stored on this thing called Google. And this is what I really like about doing the digital things on the show as well.
Like creating some awareness while also having fun.
Yes, it is also a lot of fun. Yeah. So
Martijn, what did your life look like when you were being on set? Because I didn't see you for like ages.
Yeah. So we're on set for most of the day, in HQ looking for these fugitives. And it's an entirely separate life. You spend most of your day with these people on HQ. So I see Marcel every day, Sander, well, the whole team. We can go through them in another episode and tell you what everyone does. And yeah, that is life. I go there, do all the digital things that I want to do, come up with a ton more ideas. We never have enough time. There's always too many people on the run. I go home, I sleep, and then I come back. I eat lunch there, I have dinner there. It's full on. And so we record the entire season in one go. It's not like I have a weekend in between. So after the entire season, so they're on the run for 3 weeks. I take a long weekend off, and I don't do a lot actually.
That's very cool. And so you said you do the digital part of the investigation. So what other kind of teams or roles are there involved here?
So we have Marcel, who's the day-to-day head of the team. Everybody knows him from the show, of course. And we have the tactical investigators that are assigned a couple of cases. So I'm on the show together with another digital investigator. This year it's Taime. Before that, I worked together with Marinus. And we try to divide the cases as well. So if we want to go through all of the different user accounts that we want to hack, we'll say, okay, you take these 6, I'll take these other 6, and we will try to go through them. And then we feed that information back to the tactical investigators, who are puzzling out, okay, where are they on the run, where they most likely will go. They also control the teams that are driving around the Netherlands, so they have to make the decision, where are we going to send them, and maybe we don't send them to some of the clues that we have. In the beginning, I'm really set on trying to find all of the people's devices, because if they have an old Android phone lying in a cupboard somewhere, it's going to have a bad password. I'm going to have an easy time hacking it, and it's going to have all of their passwords. So I want to find those, but then we need to do a search through their house, and we need to be able to plan that. And especially the first days, it's completely hectic. Everyone's driving around. Someone's went to an ATM machine, made a withdrawal, so we send the teams there. So every day I start saying, okay, I want to do a search. But then, of course, every day new information pops up. They were cited somewhere. They use their OV card because they want to travel around with public transport, and we just go there. So it's changing priorities continuously, which also overlaps with our work a lot. We can have a normal working day and someone calls, I have a very big incident, my entire business is down, and we switch priorities as well. It can get quite hectic, which I think is fun. But yeah, it is high pressure for 3 weeks straight. Yeah,
it sounds very, very intense. And in those times, I mean, how many shows have you done so far?
This is the third season that I've been on. Yeah.
And is there any common mistake you often see on these?
Oh, definitely. I have a very good laugh at the past couple of seasons where people wrap their phone in aluminum foil, like it protects it well enough.
And hide it in the microwave, or it is.
they have some crazy ideas on what we can do and where we listen to. There was one show where someone said, "Oh, the neighbor Googled for the word hunted, so we're gonna leave. We're gonna go somewhere else." It's like, yeah, we're not gonna follow everyone that types in the word hunted. It's a normal English word. So it's pretty fun, like how paranoid people can get, and that is exactly the mistake people make. They underestimate the mental pressure it can incur being on the run, and you always see some people on like the first day or the second day where they panic, they don't know where to go, and they call someone they know, their dad, their brother, by the second day we'll have those people under tap, and we see right away that they're doing that.
And do you then think because they get so paranoid they start to overcompensate for things that may or not have happened? So for instance, like that hunted search word, their reaction is way too strong for the risk that they are actually exposed to.
Yeah, they're most oftenly they overestimate how close we are, and then they start to panic. They make moves that don't make sense or raise a lot of noise. People see them somewhere, and that helps us eventually. So they stop thinking and they just go, or they don't find a place to sleep because they continuously move around. So they sleep in the forest. They have a bad night. They become even more paranoid and mentally drained. That's when we catch them.
So why do you think that a show like Hunted is important for people to watch?
Well, one is it's fun to watch. It is an entertainment program. You can look at these people on the run and think, oh, I would never do that, or think, I would never get this paranoid. You will get this paranoid. I would not survive for a week, probably. And the first week I would do well, but then I would go crazy.
What's the craziest that you think you would do?
That I would do?
Yeah.
I would definitely, at some point, lose track of where I want to go, what kind of evidence I might have left behind. I will lose track at some point. I will sleep very badly if I'm on the run, continuously thinking about things. That's going to wear me down. I wouldn't sleep.
Just the lack of sleep and then the mistakes that come from that.
But the second part, why I think it's a very interesting show to watch, is in the Netherlands, we've had a couple of interesting law changes around what the police can do, what the intelligence service are allowed to do, and you never really understand why that's needed. And I think in Hunted, we have a couple of scenarios where we very easily can show the audience, this is where such a technique is applicable. This is where we might want to hack someone's account because it's going to give us the right information about where someone is. Well, hacking an account is just recently a technique that the police is allowed to use. So I think it educates a bit around what do these techniques actually mean, and it also gives you a lot more insight into what does privacy mean, and when is the police allowed to infringe upon that privacy, what information is stored. I continuously like this example about the Google account that has a lot of information. I always try to log in everyone's Google accounts because it shows you where you've been, shows you Google Assistant, shows you everything. But it shows it in a fun way. So it's also nice to watch, but then you also learn something about privacy, about police techniques that are being used. Yeah.
Martijn, thank you very much for all of that very, very fun details on the Hunted show. Can you tell our listeners a little bit what they can expect for the coming episodes?
There's a couple of very interesting things that we did on the digital side during this season. I can't really say right now, but we'll go into what we did, how does that work behind the scenes, and also I'd like to chat a bit more about how does that relate to the normal work that we do around how real hackers go about their work, how we do real digital forensic investigations, and show a bit more behind the scenes. There's only so much you can show on the show because the digital side, you see a couple of minutes of what we do. We have 50 minutes per episode, so you don't really see that much. I'm going to try and share a bit more about how we go about our work and what does that mean for real life.
Very interesting. Well, I'm looking forward to that at least. So thank you very much for joining us on the SRM Insider podcast. We hope to see you all on our next show where we talk to Martijn some more about his adventures at Hunted. So hope to catch you then.